All right, let's talk about the next step in automation. We're moving way beyond simple scripts that just follow orders. Today, we're going to dive into how you can build your very own AI agent. I'm talking about an agent that doesn't just do what it's told, but actually understands your goals, makes its own decisions, and gets things done for you. So let's jump right in.
You know that feeling, right? You've set up a cool automation, maybe with a tool like Zapier, and you wish it could just think a little. You give it a really simple rule, if this, then that. But the second something slightly different happens, the whole thing just falls apart. It's powerful, for sure, but it's also really brittle. So what if? What if we could build something genuinely smart?
Well, this is exactly where Agentic AI comes in and completely changes the game. See, standard automation is like a robot on a fixed track. It's great for those simple, repetitive things. Agentic AI, though, that's more like an intelligent partner. It gets what your goal is, it can adapt when things change, and it can tackle really complex multi-step problems all by itself. It's literally the difference between a puppet and a teammate.
Okay, so how does all this magic actually work? It might sound incredibly complex, but an AI agent is really just built from a few core parts. So let's break down its basic anatomy, its brain, if you will.
So at its heart, an AI agent has just a few key pieces. It all starts with a powerful brain. That's a large language model, or LLM, like the ones from OpenAI. Then you give it a mission. You do this with a special set of instructions called a system prompt. After that, you hook it up to its tools. Your email, your calendar, other apps, using APIs, which basically act like messengers. And you can even give it a memory. These simple building blocks, that's really all you need. Now, the most important, the most critical part of this whole setup is the system prompt. You can think of it as the agent's job description, its rulebook, and its personality, all rolled into one. This is where you don't just tell the AI what to do, you're actually shaping how it thinks. A really great system prompt has 4 key things. First, you give it a clear role, something like, you are a helpful personal assistant. Second, you give it super specific instructions for what it needs to do. Third, you set up guardrails. These are clear, non-negotiable rules for how it uses its tools. And finally, you just give it a list of all the tools it's allowed to touch. Okay, enough theory. Let's see how this stuff actually works in the real world. We're going to build our own personal assistant, our very own Jarvis, to really make these ideas stick. Just imagine this. You could just tell your assistant, hey, send an email to Bob, or what's on my calendar, or even summarize my last meeting. By connecting it to tools like Gmail, Google Calendar, and even Fireflies for meeting notes, all of this suddenly becomes totally possible. Now, this is how we control the agent. This quote here, it's a guardrail, taken straight from our Jarvis's system prompt. We are telling it very explicitly, never, ever make up an email address. You must look it up in the contacts tool. This kind of rule is absolutely essential to stop the AI from just making stuff up and causing a mess. You can see this prompt follows a really solid framework. It sets a persona, a task, it gives critical context, and it demands a specific format for the reply. Following a clear structure like this, well, it's not just a nice idea, it's what makes the difference between an agent that's confused and one you can actually rely on. This is how you get predictable results. And I know the technical side might seem a little intimidating, but it's usually way simpler than you think. Connecting these tools often just means copying and pasting a unique key. You can see right here, you get a bot token from Telegram or an API key from a service like Fireflies. A lot of the time, it's really that easy. So, our Jarvis is pretty smart, but it's kind of limited to what it can find on the public internet. What happens when an agent needs to understand your company's private information? Internal policies, product specs, or customer histories? Well, that's where we get to the next level of agent design. Let's think about a super common business problem, customer support. It can be a huge bottleneck, right? It's slow for customers, it's expensive for the company, and trying to keep a human team trained on policies that are constantly changing, it's a monumental job. This is the perfect job for an AI agent, but only if it can get its hands on the right information.
And the solution for that is a concept called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. I know it sounds super fancy, but the idea behind it is actually really simple. You're basically giving your AI agent a library card to your company's private collection of documents. So before it ever answers a question, it has to go and read the relevant material first.
So here's how that plays out. A customer asks about your refund policy. Instead of just guessing based on its general knowledge, the AI first searches your internal documents. It finds the exact, most relevant facts, and then it uses those facts to write a perfectly accurate answer. No more guessing. It's all grounded in your own data.
So where does this private library live? Well, often it's in a special kind of database called a vector database, like this one, Pinecone. And just like our other tools, you connect it to your agent with a simple API key. This means this incredibly powerful tech is no longer just for the big tech companies. It's really available to anyone.
So we've covered the what, the why, and the how. The point is, the building blocks for making these incredibly powerful agents, they aren't locked away anymore. They are out there, they are accessible, and they're ready for you to start using them. Honestly, building an AI agent is a lot like following a recipe. You need a brain, that's your LLM. You need a nervous system, that's an automation platform to connect everything. You need a mission, that's your well-written system prompt. And you need tools, which you connect with those API keys. And if you needed to have specialized knowledge, you just add one more ingredient, a knowledge base. So, we've gone from simple commands to intelligent agents that can literally reason and take action. The tools are here, and they are more accessible than they have ever been. So really, the only question left is, what problem are you going to solve first?